Welcome to this explainer. Look, if you're tuning into this, there's a really good chance you recently sat down, typed Norwegian Forest Cat near me into Google, and fully expected to pick up a tiny, fluffy Viking kitten, like yesterday. And honestly, I totally get it. That's a completely reasonable instinct when you want to bring a new pet into your home. You want a kitten that's close by, easy to go visit, and simple to bring back. But if you actually ran that search, you probably hit a massive brick wall. Well, today, we're going to build a realistic roadmap to help you bridge the gap between that super frustrating online search and actually bringing your new kitten home. So why exactly is near me so incredibly frustrating with this breed? You've probably already experienced the headache of empty local search results, or maybe you've stumbled on some confusing listings that just give you a weird vibe. Listen, you aren't doing anything wrong, and your internet is definitely not broken. The issue here is the actual reality of this specific breed's global supply. Before we can find your cat, we've got to do a quick reality check about what we're really looking for. So the crucial point is this staggering statistic, 4,105. That is the total number of FIFA-registered Norwegian Forest Cat kittens born worldwide in the entire year of 2024. Think about that for a second. To put that into perspective, popular cat breeds see tens of thousands of registrations every single year. When you take a number that exceptionally small and try to spread it across the entire globe, you realize just how genuinely rare these cats actually are. Basically, this means a lot of regions have maybe a handful of registered breeders, and some places have absolutely zero within a quick driving distance. To navigate this scarcity, we absolutely need a game plan. So here's our exact roadmap for today. First, we'll look at the near-me reality. Second, where to actually search. Third, intelligently expanding your search radius. Fourth, waitlists and insider tactics. And finally, making the ultimate choice. Section 1, the near-me reality and understanding global scarcity. We really have to understand that a genuinely limited number of catteries makes proximity way harder to achieve than most of us initially expect. Honestly, the absolute easiest local access is exactly where you'd guess, Scandinavia. Buyers in Norway, Sweden, and Denmark generally have a breeze finding truly local options because, well, that's where the breed comes from. But if you live outside of Scandinavia or outside of a major metropolitan hub in places like the US, you are very likely going to have to recalibrate what the word nearby actually means in this context. Section 2, where to actually search. Moving beyond general web searches. Okay, let's dive into this. We've got to pivot away from those dead-end Google searches and start using the insider tools. Now, on one hand, you have anonymous online classifieds. Seriously, avoid these. They carry a massive risk of sketchy practices and total heartbreak. Just skip them entirely. On the other hand, you have your rock-solid, absolutely reliable starting point, the TICA and FIF registries. Both of these organizations maintain searchable breeder directories that you can actually filter by region. This ensures you're looking at verified, registered breeders right out of the gate. But you know what? Here is the real gold mine: national and regional breed clubs. A lot of the time, these club networks actually have faster, more up-to-date waitlist info than the official registry databases. Club members are constantly sharing updates about upcoming litters directly with each other. They host informal meetups, online forums, and this is the best part, they offer community-sourced info on breeder reputations based on actual first-hand experiences. It is literally a fantastic way to figure out who the genuinely top-tier breeders are in your broader region. Section 3. Expanding your search radius and recalibrating what is near. So if the breeders aren't right next door, we have to intelligently expand our search area instead of just throwing our hands up. Looking at a realistic timeline, an immediate local search of 0 to 50 miles, that often turns up completely empty. But the sweet spot, the radius where most non-metropolitan buyers actually find success, is expanding out to somewhere between 100 and 250 miles. And hey, if you're hunting for highly specific bloodlines, you might even need to look at neighboring states or countries. The goal isn't to totally abandon a local search, but to treat near me as a starting point that gradually expands outward. Now, a quick warning. Even if you hit the absolute jackpot and find a breeder a 20-minute drive away, proximity does not give you a free pass on vetting them. You still absolutely need to follow these exact steps. Step 1, verify their TICA or FIFE registration. Step 2, request comprehensive health testing documentation. Step 3, arrange an in-person visit. Geographic proximity alone does not guarantee proper health practices or legitimacy, right? So take this insider advice to heart and vet everyone equally, no matter how close to home they happen to be. That being said, if local proximity is your absolute top priority, meaning it is fundamentally more important to you than the kitten's exact age or a specific pedigree, then checking regional rescues is a highly realistic alternative. While breed-specific rescues are pretty rare, general shelters do occasionally place purebred or mixed Norwegian forest cats. It requires immense patience, and you have to keep a super vigilant eye on local listings, but it's a completely viable path if distance is your strict deal breaker.
Section 4, Waitlists and Tactics, the Insider Strategy.
Now, what's really interesting here is that finding the breeder is really only half the battle. Navigating their systems, that's the other half. It requires proactive, strategic action. Look, a lot of catteries are super active on Instagram and Facebook, posting cute updates with region-specific hashtags. These are brilliant supplementary tools for discovering litters, but remember this, a beautiful Instagram feed is not a substitute for verification. Always take the name of the cattery you found on social media and run it through the official registries to verify their health and status before a single penny of your deposit changes hands. Because this breed is so constrained, you may feel kind of anxious about being put on a wait list. But as the saying goes, most reputable breeders understand this practical reality, given the breed's genuine supply constraints. It is perfectly fine to join waiting lists at multiple local or regional breeders at the exact same time. The golden rule here is just transparency. Be upfront and honest with them about your situation. If you're on other lists, just tell them. Believe me, they deeply appreciate the honesty over someone treating their breeding program like a hidden backup plan. And when you're talking to multiple breeders over a wide radius, a dedicated search log is going to be your absolute best friend. You need to track the breeder's name and contact info, their verified registration status, the exact date you first contacted them, details of any upcoming litters, and your personal impressions. Over a multi-month search, this level of organization gives you a massive tactical advantage. It keeps you sharp, helps you avoid awkwardly contacting the same person twice, and stops you from forgetting specific terms you discussed weeks earlier. Section 5. Making the final choice. Weighing distance in time. So this is the ultimate calculation every single prospective buyer has to make, waiting locally versus traveling farther afield. It's like a giant scale. On one side, you have the hard travel costs. Driving hundreds of miles or paying for professional pet transport costs real money in fuel, time, and fees. On the other side, waiting for a closer local breeder requires some serious delayed gratification, but it saves you major cash on transport and makes follow-up visits incredibly easy. Ultimately, it all comes down to looking at your flexible timeline and your budget and deciding which side of this scale makes the most sense for your life. But what if you live in a completely underserved region where neither option seems to work? Well, here is a fantastic final insider tip for you. Use the established, distant breeders to network. Ask them if they know of any emerging catteries just starting out in your area, or if any of their previous buyers in your state had actually gone on to become breeders themselves. Often, new breeders take a little while to complete the formal directory listing process, and this kind of informal networking can uncover a completely hidden local gem.
And this brilliantly illustrates the core thesis of our explainer today. Adjusting your expectations of near is the key to finding the right kitten. Success doesn't come from forcing impossible search results to just magically appear on your screen. It comes from recalibrating, intelligently expanding your search, and using the exact right tools to verify the breeders you actually do find.
So, armed with this realistic roadmap, the official search directories, and a much clearer understanding of this breed's true global scarcity, I want to leave you with one final thought to chew on as you map out your next steps. How far are you realistically willing to go for your perfect Norwegian Forest Cat? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and hey, best of luck on your search.